Hi everybody, welcome or welcome back. My name is Dalila, like vanilla, and in today's vlog we're going to have a home office day. So join me for a very honest and hopefully very productive look at my day as an American working in FAANG here in Munich. Loneliness, working from home, how to get promoted. Since when do we trust anything a company says? Okay, so let me explain what we're even going to be up to today. Even though I've been a brand partner lead for years now, I feel like every single day can be so disconnected from every day prior. And today is very much part of that trend. So if I had to explain today specifically, what I need to do is basically be the bridge between a few different problems that have popped up that have solutions, but not like ready-made, easy-to-use solutions. For example, one of the brands I'm working with is a fitness wearable brand. They are really, really big in the US, and they're basically trying to launch their brand here in Germany. And since the company I work for is like one of the most used brands in Germany, obviously they want to partner to accelerate their brand growth. So what I need to do today is create for them a playbook that explains how to launch in Germany, what it means to be successful in Germany, which feels very basic. But would you be surprised to know that not a single resource exists for anything that I just explained to you? What makes this challenging is actually figuring out what do they even mean by the question. I need to create something that they're actually going to read and use and adopt, not something that is just going to be sat in their inbox or in some folder that they never open again. And of course, to add a little fun to this, the deadline is ASAP because, why not? Questions like this that are so vague can actually be very, very overwhelming. But in my opinion, this is actually a feature of my role rather than a bug. I honestly have taken the perspective that it is such a massive honor for people to bring me these sorts of nonsensical questions and feel so confident in my ability to understand them and to deliver good work that they just kind of plop it on my desk and walk away, knowing that the next time we talk, they're going to have what they wanted and more. I just wrapped up a team meeting and it got me thinking about a conversation I had with one of my friends who is working fully remote and has for years. But I asked them advice on how do you stay visible? How do you make sure that you are able to get promoted when you are working online rather than having the opportunity to connect with people in person, in the office, all these traditional routes that we've always been told to use. I think this is such a valuable skill to pick up when you're working remote or you're working from home, because this is just so much easier to achieve when you're working in the office. Your basic presence does a lot of the work for you. People walk by your desk, they see that you're there, they see you on calls, they see that you're stressed. There's so many little connections that allow you to build trust with people so much more naturally and easily. When you're working from home, if you're not constantly talking to someone or in meetings with them, it's so easy to completely forget that they're even on your team. It gets me to thinking about how could that happen to me as well. The advice my friend gave me, and it's become my go-to now, is over communicate on purpose. I try not to do this in a performative way or a way that's too obviously overdone. For example, if I have a deliverable that I'm going to work on, I might just send a message. I'm going to be heads down for the next hour or two working on this. Maybe I'll ask a question just so that my name kind of pops up. I wouldn't say that you need to do it every day, all day. It can be just a good tool to use every now and then to make sure that people still remember you are part of the team and you exist. My friend and also recommended setting up recurring informal one-to-ones with people across your team. So that way everybody is hearing from you rather than just your manager. If you are working remote more consistently, that could be something you consider doing as well. Let's take a quick little break to make an iced matcha. While we're at it, there's this TikTok trend that's been going around that I've talked to all my friends about, but I'd love to talk to you guys about as well. So basically, it's a debate around, would you take a $120,000 remote job or a fully in the office job that pays you double to $140K? And the reason why I thought it could be fun for us to talk about this together is because I actually went through this exact debate when I was looking for my role here in Munich. I was offered a fully remote job by a very late stage startup. They're about to IPO any second now. I was offered the other salary by my current employer. I feel like this debate online is missing a little bit of nuance. Everybody is taking it at face value and then thinking about which of these suits your lifestyle better and your expectations. But I'm sorry guys, since when do we trust anything a company says? I mean, come on, do we not all remember COVID? I swear it was like every job offer during COVID was fully remote and every company believed in remote working. And then all of a sudden, as soon as COVID ended, what happened? RTO mandates everywhere, all this pressure to return to office. The same companies who were saying they were remote first were the first ones to do these RTO mandates. So my answer to this question is basically follow the salary, because I don't think you should just believe a company so wholeheartedly when they say that they believe in remote work. The worst thing that could happen to you is you end up taking the lower salary and then you end up having to be back in the office anyway. So you basically got a pay cut to end up in the exact same situation you could have with the other offer. Anyways, those are my thoughts on this debate, but I'm genuinely curious what you think about this. If you agree with my line of thinking or if you think I'm being way too pessimistic, let me know in the comments. And cheers. Since today is a work from home day, it might make sense to talk a little bit about return to office here in Germany and some of the differences I've noticed between how Germany has approached it versus the US. I have been really surprised that the differences have been so stark. I didn't really expect that because the way I've always thought about this is it's global company policy. What is said is what needs to be done. For example, the company I work for now announced a 5-day-a-week return to office mandate via the US headquarters. And when I went through the hiring process, this was very much the expectation that my recruiter had given me as well. But my recruiter was not based in Germany. What I learned when I joined the team was that basically that is not how it works in Germany. The RTO policy had to go through quite a lot of negotiations here with the Workers' Council. Through that back and forth with the Workers' Council, it was negotiated that Germany would not respect the 5-day-a-week return to office policy and instead would do a 3 days in, 2 days out flex or hybrid policy. And there's like a secondary piece of this that I actually think is way more interesting than just the negotiations thing. In the US, for my business, and I know this is also true for when I worked at Google, they record your badge swipes and will use it as one of the criteria during your performance review. They'll record basically how well you adhered to the policy and also when you were in the office, how long were you in the office. So things like coffee badging was very discouraged because your manager would be able to see when you came and when you left. But in Germany, that sort of data collection is actually illegal. Even if you're collecting it, you cannot use that data. So whether you're technically following the mandate or you're over or you're under, it doesn't really count against you, but it doesn't count for you either. It's kind of like a null point. So I don't know if it's surprising information to you guys, but it was really surprising information for me. Anyways, let's get back to it. Is it even a work from home day if you don't leave your house in the middle of the afternoon to go run a random errand? I don't think so. So anyways, I'm on my way now to go pick up some blue light glasses. One thing I wanted to talk about, which I've been thinking a lot about actually, is kind of how we have over romanticized the whole concept of working from home. There's so many different ways to think about working from home. Obviously, there are the benefits, like you save quite a lot of costs because you're not commuting. Also, you have like freedom to leave your house in the middle of the day like I am right now. But I would say, especially if you're in a situation like me, there is a lot of loneliness that kind of comes into play with working from home. I think when you're new in a city, it's so important to, if you're going to work from home, to be very intentional about it, because as much as I love the convenience of working from home every now and then, I do think it's so important to continue to show up and find ways to make friends, whether it's at work or by using things like Bubble BFF or attending groups or any meetups or anything like that. It just is so important to be intentional if that is the choice you're going to make. But I would love to know what you guys think. Do you agree with me on this? I think it can be quite a double-edged sword to just be working from home. You can easily end up in a situation where you're just so stuck in your own little comfort bubble, and then you don't get all like the social interactions and experiences that you need to feel happy and to feel fulfilled. Okay, let's take a look at the glasses that I picked up. This is actually my first time ever buying, wearing, owning, whatever, eyeglasses. And I got some from this brand. It's called Hug. It is a local German brand. They are based in Stuttgart. And these are the glasses that I got. So I got them in this brown frame. I wanted something a little bit more natural. I got them adjusted to have blue light lenses. I think it was pretty good. I feel like I look very, you know, studious, very smart. I hope you enjoyed this very honest look at a work from home day in my life. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below about what you prefer. The office vlog, the home vlog, would you rather see something completely else? I always really take into account the comments you guys leave me and any suggestions you have for videos, formats, anything like that. Please feel free to let me know. So as always, thank you guys so much for taking a little time out of your day to spend it with me, and I will see you again next week. Bye everybody.